Developing
Hello,
musicianship
and welcome to DM09. Today we're going to delve into one of the most magical properties of GarageBand, and that is the automations. There is so much you can do creatively once you understand and know how to access the automations for each of your tracks and for your master track. Our last session we did some work on tempo, and in essence we were already using one aspect of the automations available to us. We will develop further skills today, and by the end of it you should be quite at home adding automations wherever your project needs it. Let's go. Automations work via a timeline. So when you're switching on an automation, you're going to have a line and you're going to be able to put some points on that line to say, I want something to happen at a particular point, and it'll vary from one part of the track to the next. So if I go to the track and turn on the show tempo track, you'll see the line that I was manipulating in my last episode by putting markers on it using the option key and clicking to create a point where we want something to happen. In the case of other automation, you don't need to hold the option key. All you need is the timeline, and you click on that timeline. So if I go to, let's hide the tempo track and go to the master track. So the master track is where you would apply something to everything that's coming through your final work. If you click the letter A triggers automations, and you may find your master track is green saying it's not showing. So if it is, you just need to change the setting so that it's using volume, for the moment volume. Okay, by clicking on the yellow line, and we can do this on any track, it will appear. Once it appears, you can click on it again to set a point where you want something to happen. So for example, this piece of music is the background, the introduction and the exit music for my show. So if I wanted to preset all the volumes before I put this out into my environment where I make my movies, I could ask the program to reduce the volume where the talking would normally start and increase the volume again at the end for the big finish. So the big finish is really that descending moment. Okay, and you'll see I'm putting two markers on it because when I drag the volume down, it's going to create a decrescendo or a crescendo. So where the line is pitching down, that is a decrescendo. When it's pitching up, that's a crescendo. In other words, it's going to increase and decrease in volume at that point. Okay, and I want it to decrease from the point where my speaking would normally start. So that pretty much looks like it should if I was to run the show. Let's have a quick listen and see what the effect is.
DM Developing Musicianship Online.
If you've got a track that you want to diminuendo down to nothing at the end, it's really good to take your masters, set 2 points, and drag it down to nothing so that you get that effect of fading away. Okay, that's the most basic automation. Let's take it up a few notches and see what we can do. For automation, there are multiple options available underneath the volume category. So if you click on the arrows to the right hand side of the word volume, then you'll find that there's a collection of different possibilities. Now these possibilities depend on what the plugins are, which I'm going to go into later. Plugins are add-ons to the channel. So if it says plugins, then you'll know that's what it's referring to, and the smart controls will be related to those plugins. The ones at the top, volume, pan, echo, reverb, those are based on like a master control. They cover everything, so all channels have access to pan, echo and reverb. So let me just put one of these into play. I'm going to select echo, which is just another word for delay, really. The difference between reverb and echo is reverb is like being in a shiny room where you can hear a an extra elongation to your sound, but it doesn't bounce after a period of time. Whereas echo, on the other hand, is actually going to bounce back over a distance. So therefore you have a time delay when you get an echo. So I'm going to just push this echo up only on the last word that's in the vocal part. So I shouldn't get any echo effect until I hit that last word, and then after that we should hear some sort of echo. Here we go.
DM, developing musicianship online.
Okay, and you can hear the second line. Now, we can control that echo more. It's a bit complicated, so I'm not going to deal with that now. Other things you could play around with are the pan settings, is to deal with left and right side. So you can pan an instrument all the way to the right or all the way to the left to give you a more of a stereophonic experience. The reverb, like I said, is to do with just ambience of the room. So maybe the jazz organ could do with a little bit of reverb. And the good thing about automation is you can control just how much that reverb. It's not an on-off, it's based on how many decibels of that effect you want to actually have. So if I put 11 decibels of effect into the organ, then this is what it's going to sound like. You can hear just on the end there that single hit of the dry signal organ and how it compared to the wet signal organ with the reverb on. So automation, it's a very powerful tool and you can do so much with it. I'm going to wait till next time to go into plugins. At the moment, it would be really good if you just went into your projects and had to play with the possibilities of some of the presets for your channels and get a little bit experimental with what you can do with your work. Okay, so till next time, thanks for joining. Bye-bye.
DM, developing musicianship online.